Welcome, everybody, to the December 20th meeting of the Needham Commission on Disabilities. This is a special meeting to approve the budget as well as have a few other important topics. So I would like to start with our guests. And Sandy, if you want to kick it off and then introduce Suzanne, that would be great.
Sure. So my name is Sandra Robinson. I'm the Executive Director at the Needham Community Council. And I'm thrilled to be here for two reasons. One is we really want to talk to you about all that the Community Council has to offer. So when you're out in the community, you can share what we do. And then we also put a grant in that we're really excited to tell you a little bit more about. And Suzanne's here with me, and we'll be sharing all our information.
Great. I think you can go ahead and begin, right?
Yes, absolutely. Yep.
Okay, sounds great. Today we'd like to spend a few minutes sort of talking to you about some of the Community Council's programs. I have a video I'm hoping to share that we created to really, particularly now that so many people aren't in the building on a regular basis, that they can sort of get a better feel for all that we do. And then we can talk about it. You guys can ask questions about some of our programs. Some of you probably know us really well. Some of you probably don't know us at all. Some of us may think you know all of our programs, and then once you watch the video, you'll be surprised at some of that what we are doing now. And again, so much has changed over the last 3 years, and we are really proud of how we've been able to sort of adjust to the current climate and continue to support our community. We have been in Needham for over 93 years. I have been the executive director for over 20 now. And Suzanne joined us 2.5 years ago, just sort of the summer after our lives all changed. So let me see what's going to happen with this. Interesting that my optimize video clip button is not available to me. When I practiced earlier today, it was available. But we're going to see what happens. So hopefully you're going to be able to hear it, and if not, we'll come up with a better plan.
Hi, I'm Sandra Robinson, the Executive Director at the Needham Community Council. The Needham Community Council is a multi-service agency that supports families in Needham in a variety of ways. The Needham Community Council has a food pantry, it has a medical equipment loan program, it has a transportation program, it has a technology teaching program, and it has an English language learning program, as well as many others. Our food pantry serves any family in Needham who is having financial difficulty. All they would need to do is go to our website, needhamcouncil.org, and look under food pantry. Once a family gets signed up with our food pantry, they would make an appointment and they would have the option of picking up food twice a month. We are really proud that our food pantry is a fresh first food pantry, which means we're making sure we give out fresh produce at every visit. People will often ask me, what does somebody look like who uses our food pantry? They look like everyone in our community. We have senior citizens who use our food pantry. We have babies in their parents' arms who use our food pantry. We have families that live in our town that are having money troubles. We are here to serve anyone who needs us here in Needham. How our food pantry is run is really using the volunteers that we have. We have at least 25 volunteers that are designated just to do our food pantry. We have them stocking shelves. We have them serving our customers when they're arriving to pick up their food order. We have them answering phone calls, translating for us when we need translators, and we have people making deliveries for us. We also have lots of food that arrives here from the Greater Boston Food Bank. We have about 7,000 pounds of food every month, and we need volunteers to help us take that off a truck, put that on our shelves so we can give it out to those families who need it. Since the pandemic, our food pantry has increased the number of households who use us a great deal. And that number has not gone down as we are slowly coming out of this crisis. People will often ask how they can help us. The best thing to do for our food pantry is to send in a financial donation. With our initiative of Fresh First, we are buying produce, we are buying eggs, we are getting frozen meats from the greater Boston that we are paying for, so we can really benefit from your financial donations.
The Tech and Tutors initiative is to make technology accessible to all Needham residents. It is a program that was developed to make technology accessible to everyone, because nowadays technology has become so essential to our day-to-day life that it's important that everyone not only have technology, but also have an understanding of it. So what we do is not only purchase tablets that we customize to make them kind of Needham specific and really easy to use, so that we can distribute them to not only our food pantry members, but also to older adults in the Needham community who don't have access or don't have an understanding of technology. We also teach classes 2 times a week up at the center at the Heights. So these are new users who don't have an understanding of using a tablet, and we teach them how to do it in a very non-intimidating way. And we also make one-on-one tutoring available either at home or here at the council or at the center at the Heights. Our ultimate goal is to make sure that everyone is connected to their community, connected to their families, and so we can do that best by instructing how to use the technology you already own, or providing technology and teaching you how to use it.
The ELL program is a free program for anyone who lives or works in the community and wants to improve their English. The ELL program is open to any level learner, from the most basic to the more advanced. We train tutors to meet with learners either in groups or individually to work on conversation, on reading, on writing, practice so that they can improve their English and to become more involved participants in the community. We also have annual programs that happen regularly. We have something that we call walk and talks that happen both spring and fall. They're volunteer-led, and we invite anybody in the community, whether they speak English fluently or not, to join us, and we take walks out in nature and just practice vocabulary and learn together. What's important about this program, I think, is that it's not just about other people from elsewhere learning English, it's about all of us learning together.
We refer to our transportation program here at the Needham Community Council as transportation of last resort. So if you're in need of transportation to a local appointment in or around Needham, please call our office. We do need 24 hours notice, and then you call the day that you are actually going, and we have Lyft come and drive you. This is no cost to you. We also follow your ride on our computer screen, so we know where you are at all times. Our medical equipment is free to all Needham residents. All you need to do is to come on down, see what's available. We have walkers, wheelchairs, bath seats, all sorts of other pieces of medical equipment that can help you with your rehab. These items are free to any Needham resident. If you have gently used medical equipment that you're looking to rehome, please consider making a donation to us of those items, and we'll make sure your neighbors can use them.
CAP stands for Child Assault Prevention. Our CAP volunteers speak to children in school about ways to stay safe. We talk about 3 special rights that everyone must be allowed to have. They are the rights to be safe, strong, and free. And if anyone tries to take away those rights, you can use your words to stand up for yourself. Go to a classmate or friend for help. And if you can't solve the problem on your own, tell a trusted adult and keep telling until they can help you. So, do you remember who your trusted adults are? Remember, there are lots of trusted adults right here in your school.
The Council Thrift is one of the ways we raise money for all our programs here at the Council. People donate things from their homes, softly used clothing, housewares and things like that, and then we sell them. We use that money and then spread it out so that all our programs can benefit from it. The thrift shop helps the environment by reusing, recycling, and repurposing, and it helps your neighbors because we use that money to support everything we do here. It takes a lot of people to go through all of these donations. Not everything that comes in ends up on the selling floor. We're very picky and we ask everyone to think about what they're donating and is it something that they would like their neighbor to have in the light of day? Meaning it shouldn't have rips, it shouldn't have stains, and it should be in really good condition. Everything turns around in about 24 hours. The goal is to keep the merchandise fresh so that people want to come in and shop here. We only sell about 1/3 of what comes in the door because we have to be so careful about what merchandise we put out. Volunteers are the core of the council. We call them our family, and we could not do any of the wonderful work that we do without all of the volunteers. The volunteer age range is anywhere between 15 and 96. They work in the shop and in all these different programs. But there are opportunities for everybody.
People are always asking, how can they help? The first thing you want to do is you want to go to our website, needhamcouncil.org, and really understand all of our different programs. We're always looking for volunteers. We're also always looking for financial donations. We are people helping people. The Needham Community Council could not do this work without you. We appreciate all that the Needham community does for us.
Yay. Did that-
nice.
Done. Well done.
When,
was
it,
excellent.
when my little box that said optimized video wasn't available to me anymore, I was like,
Well, you did good.
yeah,
Yeah, it was great.
I wonder what optimized means. Anyways, I'm glad you were able to see it. We're really proud of the work we do. And I know many of you would know one or two of our programs, but you may not have an idea of all that we do. But we want to make sure you can share our information. But the two that I really want to have you ask questions about is our transportation program and our medical equipment that we loan out. We're loaning out over 80 pieces every month. Everybody in Needham, it's probably what's best known for the everyday person in Needham. And sometimes people use it to test out equipment that they want sort of forever in their house, so they know what bath seat's going to fit in their shower. And others, sometimes it's, you only need it for a short period of time. One of my taglines is, when you need a commode, but you do not live in your house forever. So, but again, we, one of the things that Suzanne's going to talk about is a grant that we're asking you for wheelchairs. It's probably the item that we have that we run out of. Most other things are just donated. So we're reusing other people's items. And then we are able to get enough donations of that type that we very rarely have to buy a piece. But the wheelchairs are the one piece that we have the hardest trouble with. The other program that costs us a tremendous amount, but we're really thrilled with the results, is our transportation of last resort. For many years, we had volunteers driving people to doctor's appointments. And I usually could convince people to do pretty much anything as a volunteer, but I could never get enough drivers. So it became one of those programs that we really didn't talk about, because the people knew us, they would call us and use our volunteers, but I couldn't really go out and scream it from the rooftops because it just wasn't sustainable that way. So probably 5 or 6 years ago, I had taken my very first Lyft ride or Uber ride, and I was with my son in Boston, and I had no idea such a thing existed. And we were walking down the street in Boston, and a car drove up, he said, "Get in." I'm like, what are you talking about? I mean, this is ridiculous. And then when we got to where we were going, about a mile away, I'm like, okay, what did that cost you? And it was like $5. I'm like, okay, you've got to explain this whole thing to me. And we started to implement it pretty quickly after that. My board was very much on board. We were the first in the area to use Lyft and Uber in this manner, and we became really well known for it. So we were a real pilot and program in the area, and we were on the state's had a committee that was talking about transportation issues, and they asked us to be part of those conversations. I was on sort of the speaking tour, talking to every council on aging, every different people call us all the time about how do you set it up? How does it work? What's, where are the good parts? Where are the bad parts? And the reality is it's not foolproof. I mean, what happens about 90% of our rides go great. The 10% that do not go well are very stressful. But we haven't lost anybody yet, and we find them all. But it is something we only do around Needham. We do Dedham, Newton. We'll go to Framingham, but we don't go into Brookline or Boston. It's really financially not sustainable for us. The hospital, BID Needham, has been very generous. They've been offering us grants from this pretty much from the very beginning. And right now they're offering us $6,000 a year. And then the Metro West Health Foundation has just given us a grant of $10,000 for it. But right now we're paying a little over $2,000, and that's just for the rides. That's not the staff person who's doing this. That's not the tech, the computers and all the other pieces that fall into it. But we are thrilled with the results. We're getting busier all the time, and we are getting, and people are definitely hearing about us. We have sort of our guidelines for it. We offer 10 rides per month, but we also want to make sure people understand if they already are using the ride, the ride program, they can be part of their special program. Ride Flex is what it's called. And so sometimes people test it out with us. We're monitoring their rides, and then once they understand how it works, they can order those rides themselves, at least some of them, using the Ride Flex program. And then we can compensate with some of their other rides. So that's sort of how that all works. Questions about anything that you saw, or any questions you have about anything that the council does?
I think that's a great ride program, and I'm so glad you track people, sort of for safety. So that must be very reassuring. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, we have 97-year-olds who are getting into a car, and that we are watching sort of what's happening. It's really, our insurance company is much happier with this program than we had volunteer drivers doing this, because it was tracking their driving record, particularly as they worked with us for years, was getting more complicated. So it's been working for us. We were doing a combination of volunteer drivers and using Lyft until the pandemic. And then once the pandemic happened, we switched 100% to Lyft.
Maureen, I think you had a question. I saw your.
I did. Sorry, I'm behind Tatiana. I came up and joined her, so I wasn't the only one in that conference room. But I think I may have missed it. I know you said it's restricted to 10 rides per month, which is really generous. But how many rides a year do you provide, or per month total?
So we're providing, college year. I should know my numbers right now. Suzanne, do you know that number right off the top of your head?
Yes. So we're doing, gosh, I think over 1,000 a year, right? Hold on.
It was like 200-ish.
200 and a month. So 2,400 a year.
That's a lot.
Yes.
And that's wonderful. And also I wondered about the equipment loan program. I was in shopping at the holidays and I walked by the room and I saw it all on display. I'd never seen it before. It's really impressive. How is the return rate? I wonder if, I know you loan it out, but do you get it all back, or do you get most of it back?
You know what? We get a lot of it back.
Okay.
So we don't necessarily get all of it back.
Yeah.
But we used to say you could use it for 6 months, and then the tracking of it coming back got really complicated. And then some people needed it for longer than that. And the reality is, for most things, everything but wheelchairs, we get back, on a steady enough basis that we never worry.
Yeah.
And the wheelchairs, we are really short during the holiday season, during Mother's Day, during graduation. Like there'll be moments that
Right.
we go all the way down. And then there are moments where they all come back again. So it's the ones that we really struggle the most with is the wheelchairs we use a lot of the lightweight wheelchairs. So it's for most people, it's not a wheelchair that they're going to use kind of for every day. It's the wheelchairs that they're going to, a companion wheelchair. It's where they're going to go to a doctor's appointment. So we have some with the larger wheels that the person can maneuver themselves. But most of what we have and what most people want from us are the lightweight ones that they can put in and out of their car easily, that they can go to the mall with, they can take them on a plane with, that kind of thing. But the ones that we would that we are probably the shortest of is the ones with the thicker wheels. We have some so they can go like on cobblestones and on, you know, all different areas like that.
Thank you.
Other questions about anything that we do? So one of the things that happens also is sometimes people are offering us equipment and some of the bigger equipment that we can't take. And so like we'll get a phone call once a year for things to get into the house,
A ramp
a ramp or those kinds of things. So like when that happens, do you guys have a list of people who need them? Like I never know what to do with that.
I don't think we do that I know of.
I think it would still be helpful for us to know about it, just so we have that information in our back pocket, should we get a call,
Yes.
someone requesting it. We have had requests way back in years, you know, of people looking for a ramp.
We don't, the other thing that we don't do is we don't do the medical beds at all. So so anything that's, you know, too big that somebody couldn't come and pick up, we don't do anything like that.
That makes sense.
Suzanne, do you want to talk a little bit about the grant that we're asking for you guys?
Absolutely. And I should have introduced myself during our round robin, but for those of you I'm not familiar with, Suzanne Baker, and as Sandy said, I've been on staff for just 2 years, but I am not new to Needham. I've actually lived in town for 20 years, so I love living and working locally. We were thrilled to learn about another funding opportunity for this program. Just to reiterate what Sandy said about it, I do think it's the first point of entry for most Needhamites to the council. This is not an income-based program. This is free to every resident, and it is the most often used. And people see us and say, oh, I have dad coming to town, what could I do? And that feels really good. And we're very proud to provide these things that we don't want folks to go out and purchase for a short stay or even just a transition period. That feels really good to provide that. So the funding opportunity that you should see in front of you is to purchase 3 of the lightweight wheelchairs that Sandy described. It's about a $480 request. And Maureen, I'm glad you came in and saw the closet, and everyone's welcome to. I have to say it's really down to, and we outlined just the staffing of the program, because I think that's important, just so you know that it's well stewarded once it's in our building. Dan McCann, I can't sing his praises enough. He maintains that closet for us. It looks beautiful. And if I can, let's see, I can even show some more pictures.
We're just seeing your calendar now.
Yep. Isn't that exciting? That's so exciting. Here's our favorite. So most of you know Margie. Margie was volunteering the other day. She doesn't need a scooter, but just to say that the closet was fairly stocked this week, and Dan will maintain this closet, make sure it's organized and clear, it is, you know, Mary Ellen definitely does a beautiful job. So it's not only self-serve. People do get taken back there together with a staff member and learn about the equipment. When equipment comes back, it is sanitized and cleaned and stays put for 24 to 48 hours before going back into the closet. So I think we've taken all those precautions into consideration, and really love the option of, you know, reducing and reusing stuff in the world and in the environment, so that you're not going out and purchasing something for a short amount of time. It can be cost prohibitive on the end of another life event. So we feel good about that. Again, the program's been here a long time, and I think going to continue into the future. And yeah, the wheelchairs are, I'm sure you, I look, listen, feel downstairs as much as I can, and push out to the community that we need things, in particular the wheelchairs, through our social media channels and our monthly newsletter. But sometimes it's not enough, which is why we're so happy to see this funding come forward. We do think it would help the closet's inventory.
Great, thank you for sharing that.
No problem.
Do we need to do a motion to vote on the grant?
Um,
Happy
so-
to, or, sorry.
So I think we saved that part
Oh,
for
to last, sorry.
Yep. So are there any other questions? Everybody should have a copy of the grant. Any other questions for Sandra or Suzanne?
I just wanted to say it was a very nice presentation, and I like that you recommend putting on back if you should get approved for the wheelchairs, acknowledging that it's coming from us.
100%. We want to make
That's very
sure,
thoughtful. I thought that was very thoughtful.
yes, we want to make sure people understand where we get funding from. We have a wonderful social media following, so we will definitely be posting it on that, as well as making sure people, when they pick up from us, they know where it came from. It's one of the things that's really fun when I see things all around town and I see our you know, our name on different pieces of medical equipment. When I'm at, you know, the concert at the town hall or wherever I am, I'll be like, oh, I know that piece.
Great.
So your names would definitely be front and center on it.
Okay. Thank you.
Yes, thank you both, and we will get back in touch with you. And it has been great to have you.
Thank you.
Yes,
Needham is very lucky to have the council.
absolutely. It's incredible
The
work.
people of the community have been supportive of us, particularly, I mean, they've always supported us, but during the pandemic, people really stepped up and I was forever grateful. So thank you. Have a terrific rest of your meeting.
All right,
Happy
terrific. Thanks very
holidays.
much.
Thank you. Thanks so much for your work.
All right.
Okay. So I think now that it's just us, we can vote on that, right?
Sorry, I
Yes.
didn't realize that.
Okay, yep, that's all right. So I guess we need a motion if somebody wants to make it to approve the grant request.
I'm going to try. I make a motion to approve the grant of
To
3
vote.
wheelchairs.
Yes. To
3
vote.
wheel to vote for the wheelchairs for $159 each to be approved for the Needham Community Council.
Excellent.
Second.
A second from
third.
Alexa, great. So all in favor?
I
Any opposed? Any abstentions?
Just wanted to make a clarification. The total request of the grant is $480, which is $159 each of the lightweight transport wheelchairs.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay. So Jeannie.
Before we move on, I wanted to discuss something else that she mentioned that I think we've talked about at a previous meeting, and that is their transportation program. And they are getting donations. I think she said from BI Needham and I forget some other organization.
Metro West Health Foundation.
Right. When I talked to her a month or so ago, she had said, of course, they would welcome money for that program. And I said I wasn't sure whether it was appropriate for a grant. And I think we kind of talked about it at a previous meeting, but can we get some clarification of whether that would qualify for a grant or not?
That I think is on the gray area because I think it can potentially be seen as benefiting one person in the community rather than the community as a whole. In general, the money has to be awarded for a purpose that it benefits the whole community, not individuals. So I can get clarification on that. I mean, at the end of the day, the donation will be made to the community council, correct?
That's true. Yep. And anybody in the community could apply for a
And
ride.
exactly. So it is possible, but I'll have to double check on that.
Okay,
Yeah,
so why
because-
don't we get confirmation? Because it is, yeah.
I mean, the equipment that is used by an individual.
Mm-hmm.
So this, similarly, a car ride is used by an individual. I'm not quite sure, where you draw the line between those two.
Yeah.
Right, but available to the community, yeah. Okay,
Because we're supporting the program as a whole. We're not giving a ride to Joe Smith on this particular day. I don't know. I understand it's gray. I think it would be nice to look into it.
I would just like someone else to confirm it for me on the
Sure,
town side, and then we can. They
okay,
will have to submit a new application, but yeah, I just want to get confirmation just so
Right.
I'm comfortable. Yeah.
okay. All right, and so then the process is from here, then, Tatiana, do you let them know?
So what happens is that your recommendation for award has to be presented to the select board for their approval. And once that happens, they will issue a letter and the monies will be drawn in the form of a check to the Needham Council.
Okay, and so there is just a meeting tonight, so it would be at the following meeting then?
Yeah, so I would actually, Alexa, whenever actually the minutes have to be approved because I'll need the minutes to show that you approved it, and I need to submit that with my request to the select board, so it can be put on their agenda for approval.
Okay, so that would mean we'd have to wait until the January meeting when we have the approved minutes.
Correct.
Okay,
Mhm,
all right, thank you for the clarification.
mhm.
So let's see, so as long as we are on a roll here, why don't we talk about the minutes from the November meeting? Is there a motion to approve those?
I saw a correction. that
Oh, you did?
needs To be made for the minutes, it's minor, but it's, let me look that up. Something where they mentioned, let's see. Item number 3, the last bullet point, it mentions, at the very bottom, it mentions CPAC has a preschool coordinator, and then they have a Facebook page. That's for SEPAC for special education.
Thank you.
So,
Thank you.
you're welcome.
Got it.
So we'd need a motion with that correction. Does anybody want to make that motion? To approve the minutes with that correction?
I make a motion to approve the
Go for it,
minutes.
Babs.
All right, thanks, Babs. All right, great. A second?
I second it.
Okay, thanks, Karen. All right, all those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Okay, the minutes are approved. Excellent.
Before we move on, I just wanted to clarify. We've kind of assumed that you all knew what was going on, but I just wanted to clarify that Maureen had her official interview this past week with Carol, myself, Miles,
Miles Tucker.
Tucker, and the select board member,
Marcus.
Marcus. Thank you. 70-year-old brain is, anyway, and it was a very successful interview, and we recommended that she be approved. So that's where we are. It has to be officially approved by the select board tonight,
Night.
but Maureen passed muster with us.
Yes.
That's wonderful.
Thank
and
you.
we appreciated her contribution so far, so we will wait for the final approval.
Okay, thanks.
And
Yes.
there was another candidate who was interviewed that night who has since withdrawn.
Oh, no.
So we do not have any candidates at this time, so we still have one open seat.
Mhm.
Yeah, so if you have any suggestions, and Jeannie and I are following up, with Elaine and Manny as well to see if they have any recommendations. And there's a couple other folks that have been interested as well. So we'll follow up with them. All right, thank you for that, Jeannie. So back to our approval roll that we seem to be on. We have the budget to talk about. Tatiana, do you want to say anything about that?
Yeah, so you all should have received a copy of the submission. Let me just pull it up so we can all see it at the same time. Small committees like us don't have to do a full-blown submission. What we have is a short form that is usually 1 page. And it gives us an opportunity to talk about the purpose of the commission, our budget statement, meaning like what is our, how do we spend the money? What is the intention of the money that is awarded to the town through the budget process, and what has been accomplished in the last year. This 1 page document goes to the finance department for their review, and then it goes on to the finance committee for their review as well. The finance committee and the town manager for their review and recommendation. The budget, as most of you know, it's voted in at the annual town meeting in May. The Needham Commission on Disabilities budget has not changed, at least since I've been part of the commission, which is quite some years now. The commission gets $550 a year to be spent on multiple supplies, such as printing, office, other, anything else that might be needed. I just want to make sure, can everybody see the, Okay, sorry, I should have asked before. Okay, so I hope you all had a chance to read through the writing on the commission. Any department, commission, board that receives money from the town to continue its operations will put together a budget submission request for the consideration of the finance committee and the town. So broken out are the categories in which we're requesting the money. For the longest time, like I said, there's been no change to the budget and the way that we break out the categories for the budget. So the only change this year is that I am taking some of the money that usually goes into the public works supplies and putting it onto other, because just to keep consistent with the way that we've been spending money, which most of that $550 has been going to plaques for retiring members. Unfortunately, we're seeing a little turnover with the commission, so that's where the money has been spent in the past couple of years. So to better reflect our spending habit, I took some of the money and put it into that category. Also in recognition that we have quite a few handicap placards still, that inventory of handicap placards that we can sell to businesses at cost. So there shouldn't be a need for DPW or public works supplies for a while anyway. In addition to the $550, there's $1,500 that goes to the town liaison. That's me. It is a stipend that is paid for the job that I do for the commission.
Worth every penny.
Definitely, definitely. I second that.
Thank you. So my apologies, I missed the deadline for November, so we have gathered you here today so the commission can vote on the budget submission and approve the breakdown as presented.
Yeah, but in a way, it's a happy mistake, because then we could also have the presentation from the Needham Community Council.
Yes,
so.
this worked out great.
This all worked out.
Because I was happy that I didn't have to pull you guys out of your day for just this.
Right. Yep. Excellent. So thank you for all this detail. Any questions before we take the vote?
I just noticed a couple of typos on the
Sure.
budget statement section. The second section, this includes office supplies instead of offices.
Oh, thank you.
I don't know if it matters. And then
Office supplies.
where the funding's reallocated with a D.
Is being reallocated. Actually, that one got caught by the review. So thank you. I think I'm showing you my version.
Okay.
Yeah. Thank you so much.
Okay, anything else? All right, I guess we're looking for a motion to approve the budget as outlined and amended.
I move we approve the budget as outlined.
Excellent. Is there a second?
I second.
Thanks, Babs. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? All right, the budget is approved, Tatiana. Woo!
The budget submission is approved.
Oh, the budget submission is
Town
approved.
meeting
Excuse me.
approves it.
Yeah, yeah. All right, well, we approve the budget.
Yeah,
anyway.
exactly.
Where that gets us.
Thank
All
you
right,
so
terrific.
much.
Okay, Jeannie.
Yeah.
Speaking of plaques, I just wanted to let everyone know, we've had discussions among Carol, Tatiana and I don't think we've included the rest of you, but we have decided to present a plaque in memory of Debbie Heller. And
Oh, yeah, we did discuss last month.
did
I
we
believe.
discuss it?
Yes, yes, yes.
Okay, I'm sorry. So her husband, Jeff, is coming to receive the plaque in person in January.
Yep. So Maureen, we actually will be there this time.
Yeah, we will have in January, we will have a hybrid meeting.
Yes.
Babs is
I'm happy
coming
to-
too.
Yes.
I'll be there. Yeah.
Yeah, I will secure the room, and it might have to be here in town hall because I believe those are the ones that have the owls already, which is the device that we use to have hybrid meetings. They're already selected, but if there are any, accommodations, please obviously do let me know. But it probably will be here in town hall, and we will continue to have a Zoom link for those who want to join remotely.
Okay, terrific. So I think we have very nicely accomplished all of our agenda items. Karen is still, I see you're still with us, hopefully almost to your destination. Any new business before we wrap? Okay, so thank you so much to everybody for making time for this special meeting. I know it's been a couple years since we've had to do this, so thank you so much. I think we accomplished a lot. Looking forward to seeing everybody in January and the presentation to Jeff.
That's a busy meeting, that one. Have a lot going on.
Right, so it's good we did, we got some things done tonight. So
Yeah.
thanks and happy holidays, everybody.
Happy holidays, everyone.
Holidays. All right, bye-bye.
Wishing
Thank you,
everyone a
Karen.
happy and a healthy.
Yes.
Thanks.
All
You
right.
too. Thanks.
Bye.
Meeting adjourned?
Oh, the meeting is adjourned. Yes.
Yeah.
6:17. There we go. Thank you. Bye.